It's until we hit 9 o'clock and you're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. And you know that the hashtag to use right here is the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Before the break, we were looking at what is trending on our social media and we found some of the interesting things that we were discussing right here. And one of the ones that had made it to the top was Mam Nandi, you know, with her financial struggles. So the question is stated that should we donate to artists when they don't have money? And should we now look at the lifestyle they were living before, you know, they got into the financial struggles? So definitely what I need you to do right now is to fix those hashtags by commenting down below. Remember that we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook. So what I need you to do go on Facebook, press the follow button, comment down below and tell us what you think. And also on YouTube, you can post down your comment on the comment section right there. And also Instagram, TikTok, we are Vooka Breakfast Show. On X, it's at Vooka Daily. So as promised right here that we're going to be bringing you the one and only Bernice the Badge Ferreira. Just join in. So what I need you to do is to fix those questions because a lot is about to be discussed here on the table as she is here. But of course, Musi just came in as TK was speaking that, hey, donate. I see the donation worked because Musi is right here.
So quickly, already. The donation came through, I got the medication, and I'm healthy and I'm good to go.
The power of social media.
I mean,
the power of social media.
But also, let's try to make it more specific. This is the power of the Vooka Breakfast Show.
Definitely.
Brought to you by the Blink-1 Network. What really promises to be your favorite rendezvous each day or on a daily basis, weekdays between Monday and Friday.
Definitely.
And between the hours of 7 and 10. Couldn't be happier to be in your presence. It is a Friday morning, the 4th of April. And we learned earlier this morning that it is the 94th day of the year. Very, very close to hitting the 100-day mark. And I'm happy to be in your company. More, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know that I always say this whenever we're experiencing this. The weather is absolutely horrible and I'm hating it like no one's business.
Yeah.
I'm completely and utterly hating it. It's rainy, it's wet, and it's cold. And, I don't know, but there are some people who do enjoy it. But other than that, you can also keep on engaging with us across all our social media platforms using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Comment, like, subscribe, and do the things that are necessary to be done so that you and I and the rest of the team here can connect, interact, and communicate and share all our thoughts and everything else in between. The time right about now is 9 o'clock on the dot on a Friday morning. And seated right next to me is the one and only Bernice. And I was telling her off camera, that I was actually bummed more 2 weeks ago when electricity was just not on our side.
Yeah.
Mother Nature was not doing the things like the son of Mother Nature. And you also didn't come through for us. But anyway, God willing, we are here today this morning and she's right here next to me in studio.
Yeah.
Welcome, Bernice.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. We really appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So the one thing I am going to ask is that we try to speak as close to the mic as we can. And there we go.
Yeah.
And
is that better?
It is completely.
Much better.
We're really going to try and have a very cool conversation. Like I said, I was really absolutely looking forward to having someone like yourself in studio because the reason is you're the absolute first person we've had here who is a boxer. So the last time we had a martial artist. If I right, am I right? Well, we had someone who's very well versed in the spaces of martial arts, a sensei, right? And so this morning you are the absolute first person we've had to be in the boxing spaces.
Yeah.
So for me, more that deserves like a come on.
Because you are a boxer, I want to give you the right introduction. I watch a lot of boxing, man. So I think we're going to go like this. Standing in the yellow corner.
Yes, sir.
And the female junior lightweight champion. The one and only.
Gauteng champion.
Gauteng female junior lightweight champion. Bernice the Badge Ferreira.
Come on, man.
A very good morning to you once again. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for this opportunity. It'll be my first time on a show like this, so it's quite as important to me as it is to you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good, man. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. excited for the conversation.
Yeah,
there we go. We're also excited to have you, actually.
Yeah,
like we said, this is me personally is my first time sitting down and having a one-on-one conversation, or rather not a three-way conversation with someone who's in the boxing space, and to actually find out that you're the Gauteng champion.
Hey,
sheesh, man, I can't wait to get into that. I can't wait to get into it. So before we get to where you are now, let's start and try to find out about who Bernice is. Where did Bernice grow up, and how did Bernice grow up, essentially, and to finally find yourself getting where you are now as a Gauteng champion?
Okay. I was born and bred in Vrededorp, Vitas.
Okay.
I've stayed there probably my whole life. I've recently only moved to Claremont, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Just like a few kilometers apart.
Yeah.
I've basically been boxing my whole life, on and off. The first gym I can remember going to was in Vitas, right next to my grandmother's house. I was about 6 years old. I didn't compete yet, but then I moved over to kickboxing in primary school, where I did pretty well. I was not selected. What's the word? I qualified to go overseas for the World Championship, but I couldn't go because of funding, right? So that demotivated me. I ended up giving up kickboxing and not doing anything for a few years. And then in high school, I went back to boxing. Also another gym, Higenote, close to my house in Vitas, in Brixton actually. And there I was training on and off for many, many years. As an amateur, I had like 2 or 3 amateur fights, but because there's not a lot of females in the sport, I couldn't get a lot of fights, so I also got demotivated. Hence I was on and off. And then eventually I realized, like, I'm getting old, and if I want to make something in boxing, I need to do it now. So I decided to turn pro. I struggled to get my pro license because I didn't know where or how or where to start, or so I struggled to navigate my way to finding my pro license. Eventually, I got it because of a friend that said that guided me to how to apply and whatever. And then I got my license. I didn't have a manager or a gym or anything like that. I just thought, well, I have my license. I want to fight. Let me fight. And I didn't get any fights for like a whole year. I didn't fight. Yeah. That was a big struggle for me. Then, by divine intervention, I would say, BSA connected me to Colleen McOsland, who has now played the role of my manager ever since. And I've had 7 fights since then. So I'm super grateful to her, and obviously for BSA connecting me with her. And now things are happening, man. I'm moving up on the ladder. My ratings are going up nicely. I'm winning titles along the way. So I'm super happy.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Interesting, man.
Very completely. But what piques my interest for now, Mo, is what year was this where you didn't get any fights at all, completely?
2023.
This is 2 years ago.
Yes.
I'm thinking you'll say like before COVID or like close to COVID or something like that. This is 2 years ago.
Yeah, so during COVID, I was struggling to get my license.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Then 2022,
when the world started opening up again.
Yeah, I got my license. The whole 2023, I didn't fight at all, but I had my license. And then 2024, I had 5 fights.
Okay.
No, I'm lying. 2022, I didn't have any fights. 2023, I had 5 fights. 2024, I only had 1 fight last year.
Yeah.
And now this year, I've had 1 fight so far.
But now as a boxer, going through the whole year without a fight, what's the process like? Do you keep on training, or
It's the worst thing to be in, because like you guys mentioned earlier, how do you live if you only work once a year? Right? Man. So last year, I've only had 1 fight. And it wasn't even a big fight. So it wasn't even like big cash or something that can carry me through the whole year.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation. What we do is, obviously, you have to keep training. You can't not go to gym, because a fight can come up at any time. You have to stay ready, not get ready. Right? So it's tough, because now you need petrol money to get to gym. You need money for proper food so that you have the energy to be able to gym. Excuse me. You need supplements to maintain your physical body, because, you're draining yourself every single day to make sure that you're ready for a fight. And other than the basic cost of living, you know what I mean? So it's a tough situation, but luckily I have some support there. And we give fitness classes at night by Muscle Zone Gym. It's called Gloves of Thunder, the boxing section.
Gloves of Thunder.
Yes.
I see.
It's at the Muscle Zone Gym in Northcliffe Hill at Los Arcos Center. So we give fitness or boxing class, boxer-sized classes there in the evenings. And then we have like a half-day job where we work in a bakery baking rusks.
Nice.
Right. So in the mornings, we'll go to gym until about 11 or 12. And then we'll go to the bakery and bake until about 4 or 5. And then we'll go to Muscle Zone and give class until about 7.
Yeah.
And that's how we survive, by that other extra money.
Yeah. So now, you're going through these situations and scenarios where you're almost demotivated into, continuing your career. And then just let me know what's going on in your mind when you're now transitioning to boxing. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, from kickboxing.
Yeah.
Well, in kickboxing, I was basically just outboxing my opponents anyway. They used to warn me that I'm not kicking enough. I need to kick. It's kickboxing.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two.
Yeah. So I guess it was easy for me to transition to boxing because boxing is in my blood. My dad was a boxer. My mom tells me stories of when I was like 2 years old. I can't remember, obviously, but apparently I was shouting at the side of the ring to my dad while he's fighting.
Man.
So I've been born into boxing, I guess you can say.
So it's very interesting that you mentioned it because I was about to ask Mo that where does the inspiration come from? So I'm assuming it's from your dad. This is something that's in the family.
Yes, mostly my dad, but also my mom. My mom did karate.
Wow.
She had her second dan, which means like a second black belt. So she could have been an instructor or a sensei. So she's very competitive, a lot of fight knowledge. So she's my biggest supporter. She's been at every tournament that she can be at.
Yeah.
My dad is the provider, so he's always been at work and, doing the manly stuff. But my mom is always there on the side of the ring every single time.
Yeah.
And she, like I said, she's got a lot of fight IQ, so she gives me good advice. Between the two of them, I think I am where I am right now.
You have great people in your corner. I can imagine. More like growing up in a family where you're absolutely completely surrounded and inspired by people who are in the house on a day-to-day basis with you and who have so much knowledge and information with regards to fighting and stuff like that.
The funny thing is, when I was born, they both stopped competing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not like I grew up watching them fight.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
When I was young, apparently my dad was still fighting, but I can't remember that. You know what I mean? So it's not like we go home and we're all in the sparring ring together, the whole family, like a whole family thing. It's not like that. But I do feel like I'm giving my parents kind of a new life by boxing or accomplishing things in boxing, because I can see the light sharpening in their eyes by watching me and following me and supporting me. And I feel like maybe I closed their doors on them in their time, when it was their time, because I came to this world. So I feel like I kind of owe it to them to make something of it, because they could have both had their own great careers respectively, and then I came along, so the least I could do is have a great career in honor of them.
So now looking at debuts, before we go into boxing, because you both had your debut days on kickboxing and boxing, so let's track it back to kickboxing. How did it go? Were you nervous? Were you looking forward to the fight because you knew you could kick? Or was it a case that I don't know what I'm doing here?
I'm a very competitive person and I love sports, all types of sports. So I was quite young when I did kickboxing, but I joined because one of my cousins was doing kickboxing. So I was inspired by her. And I had a lot of fun, man. It was great. In kickboxing, you go through like in the amateurs, they call it a round robin. So if you win, you go through to the next round. Whoever loses falls off. So you would have like 5-6 fights in a day to win that weight category. So that was amazing, and I just fell in love with the sport because it was so active and it was very competitive, and my parents were very proud of me. So it just made sense to me to just keep going with that. And then when I transitioned into boxing, now I didn't get any fights. Where I'm so used to getting 4, 5, 6 fights in one day. Now I'm going to all the tournaments and I'm not even getting matched.
I see. I mean, and it's part of some of the things that I want you to ask, that now as a professional, since you've transitioned to professional boxing now, as a young lady upcoming on the ranks and stuff like that, what are some of the challenges that you personally have come across that you've found in the sport, and just in general for boxers, or specifically for female boxers? What are some of the challenges that you can say, you know what, going through this, that, and the other? When I'm in the ring, I face this, or when I'm in training, I face that, or the stigma and the stereotypes that might come with being a young female boxer in the sport?
Okay. I think if you speak to any female boxer, they would say that we don't get enough fights. That's the biggest challenge that we have. And I feel like it's been changing a little bit over the past year or two.
Yeah.
Maybe Mr. McKenzie will make a big change.
Yeah,
definitely.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
He's made a lot of big promises, and he came through on a few of them. Not all of them yet, let's say yet.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling very hopeful for the future. I'm looking at how things have been changing.
Yeah.
But definitely the biggest challenge for females is not enough fights, and what also goes hand in hand is that there's not enough females that box. So you end up fighting the same opponents all the time because there's no other females to fight.
I see. But do you think that the sport still has this thing where it's a boys' club, it's a manly man world?
Absolutely.
And females are still like, guys, you guys can't box as good as we can.
Definitely. There's definitely big inequality, gender inequality in boxing. And like I said, it's been changing a little bit, but it's still not equal.
Yeah.
Like there'll be, let's say on one tournament, there'll be, let's say 8 fights. And there'll be 7 male fights and only 1 female fight.
Wow.
That's not fair. I mean, come on, we're also trying to make it out here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then another thing is the purse money. So if, let's say a 6-rounder for a male get X amount for the 6-round fight, and the females get Y amount. Why? It's both 6-rounders. We're both working hard to win this fight. We're both putting in the same amount of work, going through the same stuff, putting your body through the same things, going through the same mental issues, whatever, to get to that fight. Same 6-rounder, but why the guy is getting paid more and the girls are getting paid less?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's another struggle for females in boxing.
Yeah.
What else do we face? Just inequality, man. Gender inequality is the biggest thing.
In terms of training, is there any difference where, as myself, as Musi, I would go in the ring and go to training on a day-to-day basis? Are there any differences that you do in terms of the training regimes and styles that you go through, and
not at all.
Could we go through the same things
exactly
and train the exact same way?
The same way.
Yeah.
So in our gym at Mokosland Boxing Management, we train in Kibble Park. We have about 4 girls and maybe like 8 to 10 men. But we all do exactly the same thing. If we're running a 10K, we're all running a 10K. It's not like, okay, now the girls can only run 8 and the guys must run 10. The only time that I think they separate the females and the males is when we run for time. So sprints. Because men have more power. I mean, it's a fact. Men have more power than females. So you can drive more than females, which is, I mean, that's just the honest fact.
Yeah.
So if we do sprints, you'll say, okay, the men you have 4 minutes to get there, and the females have 3.5 minutes to get there. Or other way around. Sorry, the females have 4 minutes, the men have 3.5 minutes. That's the only distinction.
Okay.
Other than that, we do exactly what they do. If they do 500 push-ups, we must do 500 push-ups.
Yeah.
If they punch the bag for 12 rounds, we must punch the bag
Same
for 12
thing.
rounds.
Yeah.
No difference. That's why I'm saying we're putting in exactly the same work as you. Why do you get paid more than us? It's not fair.
Still in conversation with Bernice Ferreira right here. So what you can do is you can use the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show to post your questions right there on the comment section. I can see there are some questions for you. So from Spin City, he's saying congratulations on your achievements, Bernice. Truly inspiring, especially the community work. It shows you love people. So the question is, so what discipline do you apply mentally and physically to your life?
Mentally, I've learned that consistency is key. If you want to achieve something in any avenue that you take, you have to be consistent. You have to do the same thing every day until you get to the end, until you get to the top, to where you want to be. So consistency is a big challenge for everyone mentally. It's something that you have to dig deep and find in yourself and just ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Like, is this something that I really want? And if the answer is yes, then you got to do what you got to do to get what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So mentally, it's more of a self-motivation type of thing, where I have to keep reminding myself that this is my last shot.
Yeah.
If I don't make it this time, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not getting younger.
Yeah.
So mentally, that's a big struggle for me, but I work on that every single day. And physically, you just get tired, man. Like physically exhausted and fatigue. That's why you need to rest. Recovery is just as important as training.
Yeah.
So you do need recovery time in between, and obviously supplements like magnesium and all of that to help your body recover faster.
Yeah.
I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. Spin City will come back, and, hope to hear from you that you are answered. And then Banele says, since there are not many women in the boxing world here in SA, do you think you would be open to fighting a trans woman who would be interested in being in the ring with you if the chance arose?
Man, I don't have anything against trans women, but I do feel that it's unfair. It's like a woman fighting a man, essentially.
Yeah.
So I do feel it's unfair, but I'm not scared. I'll take on any fight.
Come on,
a man, a woman, it doesn't matter.
Come on, Denise. Come on. I think the reason Manele is asking that is that it's quite a huge debate right now all over the world, right? Men transitioning to women and wanting to be involved in women's sports, and vice versa. Women transitioning to men and wanting to be involved in men's sports. Because we found that there are women who say, sure, I don't mind fighting a man who's transitioned, and then there are women who will say, no, that's not fair.
Yeah.
This person is still a man.
Yes.
So it's quite controversial even in the space. And now to find that there aren't too many women in the sports, especially in South Africa, do you find that it makes it difficult for you guys to try and rank yourselves as to how far you've come in your improvement? Because you mentioned that time and time again you keep on fighting the same person because there aren't too many of you in the space, right? So do you find that it prohibits your ability to rank yourself as to how far you've improved and you've progressed? Yes,
I get you. So I do feel like I haven't faced the same opponent twice yet in my career, but a lot of my teammates have in the past, like say the past 5 to 10 years. So that's why I know. So recently, things have been changing. There is a lot more girls coming into the sport right now. But I do feel like because there's so little women in boxing, it doesn't restrict your progress, but it's kind of like our standard in this country is on this level, right? And you're fighting everyone in our country, and you're the best.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now you feel like you're the man because you're beating everyone.
Everyone,
As soon as you go international, you realize that there's a whole nother standard. You're not the best.
That you haven't tapped in.
You know what I mean? So I would like more quality female boxers in our country. So maybe at the grassroots level, develop the females better. Because we want good fights. Like, that's another reason why I feel like the men looks down upon the women in the sport, because we don't box as well, which is true. We don't. Most of the females can't box well.
That's true. Definitely. I mean, with what you're speaking about grassroots, it's something that every time when we have someone who is participating in any sports, out there, they speak about how they're in the grassroots, the support is not given as much. Because now, if you look at soccer, yes, they're going to complain that we need these young players. But when you look at grassroots, there's no support. There's no one to give a hand and to support these one to come and become the pros that we see today, right? So we just hope that will change. And then Hector Takalani coming on YouTube asking that, so how long do you recover after the fight?
I want to just go back to, I'll answer this question right now. I just want to go back. So I've realized that there's a lot more females joining the pro boxing world right now, right? But because there was no grassroots level support, they were never in amateurs. So they get to some are now a professional, but they can't even box. They've never had that foundation from the amateur level. A lot of them, not all of them. There's a lot of females that did have a great amateur career, like 100 and something fights with only 1 or 2 losses.
Wow.
That is the grassroots level that I'm talking of. That boxer, when she transitions to professional, she's going to be good.
She knows her stuff.
She's got experience. But because there's no females in the amateur world, there's no development. Then they just decide, I'm going to go pro because I want money. Now you can fight, but you can't box. So you keep losing, but you keep staying in boxing because you want the money. See what I'm saying? Then now someone like me, for instance, I keep fighting those people and I keep winning, and I feel like I'm the man. I'm keep winning. I'm the best. Then when I get to international, I lose like bad, and then I can't understand what happened. I was so good, and then I suddenly lose. It's because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, going back to the question. Yeah. What was the question again?
So the question is, how long do you
recover
recover after the fight?
So in our gym, we have a rule: after a fight, you only get 7 days off. Because after 12 days, your body starts losing what you've been training.
Yeah.
So you only right. So after 7 days, you have to go back to the gym. And sometimes you cheat. Sometimes you take like 10 days but 12 days max. Then you have to go back. Because I promise you, if you go back after 12 days, you're gonna feel it.
But what do you mean you lose the things that you've learned?
So not you lose what you've learned. Your body
relaxes.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, if you've been training to be fit and for 12 days you just do nothing, by day 13 you won't be fit anymore.
Really?
Well, not as fit, let's say that. Obviously you'll still have some of it, but you start losing it now. Slowly but surely. That's why consistency is key. You have to train every day and maybe have 1 day in between as recovery, 1 day of the week. Not 1 day, train 1 day, rest 1 day, train. No.
1 day in a week.
Train 6 days, rest 1 day. Train 6 days, rest 1 day. Ooh. That 1 day is your recovery.
So can I do 3 and then rest? And then do another 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's perfect. Recovery is important. You have to recover. Otherwise, you're going to get injuries. You're not going to perform. Sometimes you feel like you're not performing as well as you should, and then you want to push harder. When in actual fact, you need to just cut back a little bit and recover. Then when you go back, you'll be excellent form again.
So in boxing, what are the most common injuries that the boxers get?
For me, my hands, my knuckles. Every time after I fight, my hands are sore and swollen and blue. I think
don't you guys protect yourself?
You do wear wraps and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's still like
sore.
Yeah. Every time I fought, my hands were sore afterwards. And also my jaw. If I eat a few punches, my jaw afterwards for the next week after the fight, my jaw is sore if I chew. I have a lot of bumps on my head most of the time. Nosebleeds. I'm sure a lot of boxers have broken noses.
Of course.
Sometimes a lot of boxers transition into boxing from another sport because they have an injury, like a knee injury, for instance. A lot of rugby players become boxers after they've had a knee injury. So knees are also quite a big thing in boxing. What else? Yeah, shoulders. A lot of dislocated shoulders. Yeah.
Like more, this is fascinating for me.
It is,
because it's one thing watching someone on TV or having the privilege to go into the stadium or the arena and watch it live, but it's something else actually sitting next to the person and hearing all of these things that the person goes through as the athlete. So what do you find that are some of the misconceptions that are there specifically for female athletes? Even outside of the boxing spaces, like that, female athletes do this or they don't do that, or when we're on tour as a team and there's female athletes, they want to do this or they say that. What are some of those misconceptions that you found, maybe personally?
I don't know. I think a lot of people think that females are weak when it's that time of the month. And I mean, you can't escape that. That's nature. It just happens. But for some females, that's a problem. But for most females that I know, it's not. Like, it doesn't change anything.
It doesn't slow them down.
For me personally, it doesn't change anything. That's a misconception. Also, a lot of females think that if you can throw your hands, you're a boxer. Or not just females, just people in general. They think if you can fight, you're a boxer, and it's not the same. Boxing is an art. It's not just fighting. It's not just throwing hands and
I mean, I can attest to that because there was this celebrity boxing edition. Because we thought the way they were training, they were going to give us a match. Until we saw Casper flying his head. He was like this on the air.
You see, he can't box, but he thinks he can fight. So we went into the boxing ring. But you can see a big difference between
someone who's been doing it for a while
and just fighting or brawling. They were brawling. There's a big difference. So that's also a big misconception. It doesn't mean because you can fight, you can box.
Do you find that an art? Do you find that people who found out that Bernice is a boxer and Bernice can box like no one's business, do they have this thing where they want to, I guess for lack of a better word, challenge that about you? Or people just treat you like, oh no, Bernice is a cool person, I grew up with her, and or Bernice is someone I know in the streets, or I come to the bakery and I see Bernice there, or do they treat you like, nah man, I want to see how good Bernice is?
Yeah. The males are like that. It's so funny. It's like they feel threatened or something. The males are like that. A lot of them are like, oh, you say you can fight a man, so let's fight. The females aren't like that. The females are very supportive of each other, and the females in my team, all of us look after each other and we help each other and we support each other. But the gents, gents are hectic.
They always want to test you. I can imagine. I can imagine.
So the Benjamin, how did the nickname come?
I thought about it for a long time, While I was trying to get my pro license, obviously I was thinking ahead, like, what is my name going to be? What am I going to wear? How will people see me?
Is
what
it
am
a
I
thing
standing
to have
for?
a name? Like a Bernice, aka...
Yeah, your ring name. They call it your ring name.
Okay.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought about it for long. I thought about something that will maybe flow with my surname or flow with my name, or I thought about like the Ferocious Ferreira. Something that has a nice ring to it. Yeah. And the bakery that we work at, our boss, her name's Auntie Vanessa, she also has another company called Badger Logistics.
Okay.
So I saw that logo and I realized, but badgers are like the toughest animal in nature. And Bernice the badger has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm super tough, so it suits. And then I just chose
it has a
that
nice
one.
ring to it, like an alliteration thing to Bernice the badger.
The badger.
Yeah, man, I can imagine.
Speaking of nicknames, taking it back, I think it was last month, you were fighting the anaconda, right?
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Buki we no Nina.
That's it.
Right. And then during the press conference, you said Galerina is the biggest stage you've ever fought in.
That's
like,
right.
just walk me through that, man. Why did you say, it was the biggest stage you've fought in? Or was it the first time you were fighting on that stage?
It was my first time fighting on that stage specifically, but all my previous fights, the one was in Showe, in KZN, a really small local town with like a hall. It wasn't like a big stage with a lot of media. It wasn't on TV or anything like that. And then the second fight was in Cape Town, also just a small local hall that they used. No media or anything. All my fights. On the third fight, I think, was in the Eastern Cape against Jamani. That was quite a big fight. There was good media coverage. It was on SABC Sport Live. They made a cool promo video. So that was the biggest stage until I got to the Galleria, which was even bigger. Like all the media companies was there. There was like hundreds of photographers. It was quite overwhelming because I've never...
Sport was also there.
Exactly. I've never been on a bill where there's so much media around you all the time. So for me, it was quite a big deal. And I felt super grateful and humbled to be on that stage.
But does that change you, man, from fighting to a place where there's no media? Now there's a big broadcasting companies, covering your fight. Does that change, how,
the mindset?
The mindset.
It does make me feel like, okay, I'm busy making it now. Mama, I made it.
Yeah, come on, man.
I know that there's a lot more or other bigger stages still waiting on me, but it makes me feel good knowing that I'm getting there. Like the stages are growing, the media coverage is growing. I'm heading up into the rankings. Like it just makes me super excited and grateful of the future.
Yeah. So now, but having mentioned now that you are slowly coming up on the ranks, right? And you're slowly being recognized. And now you are the junior champion of Gauteng, right? How do you then cope and deal with losses and setbacks? Like you mentioned, like I'm sure, and I'm assuming here, and I stand to be corrected, but one of the setbacks that you experienced was not fighting for a year. So how do you deal with those setbacks and losses, and what keeps you going and saying, you know what, I'm not giving up, I'm still going to do this, and I'm going to get where I want to?
Right.
Yeah.
So what keeps me going, as I said before, is I have to remind myself, why am I here? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And the biggest reason is to make my parents proud.
Yeah.
Like to give back to them for whatever I've taken from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously to make myself proud. Like I know in my heart I'm a champ. I'm a world champ.
Man.
I know it.
Yeah.
But I need something to show to myself.
Yeah.
I am a champ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that also motivates me a lot to prove to myself that I can make it.
Yeah.
I can make it before I'm too old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the fact that I'm getting older, that also keeps me on track because I know I can't mess around this time. I've been messing around my whole life.
Yeah.
On and off, knowing that I can make it, but also not now. You know what I mean? So now, it's now or never.
Yeah.
If I quit now, then I'm never going to be a world champion. Then for the rest of my life, I'll regret saying I could have, or I should have,
or I would have.
You see?
Yeah,
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that because I lived with that for a few years. Obviously being demotivated and not doing what I wanted to do and just pushing forward with something else. And I felt like I'm not living, man. I felt dead inside, like my soul isn't thriving.
Yeah.
And boxing gives me that. Boxing makes me flourish.
Yeah.
So I want to stay in boxing for as long as I can and go as high as I can. And once I'm done, I want to be able to say, damn, I made it. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
I made it.
That's it. That's what keeps me going. Even when there's no fights. I'm like, you got to push.
Yeah.
You're going to make it.
Yes,
You got to push.
definitely.
Because now the mindset has changed. I want you to take me back to the fight that you had with Bugiwe. Like the preparation, what goes on in your mind? Because you took the female junior lightweight title on her. So what is the mindset? Like, what is the preparation going in? What is on your mind when you're preparing for that fight?
So I didn't win the title from Bukiwe. I won the title from what was her name? Huh?
Sinesipho.
Yeah, Sinosipo Mve.
Sinosipho Mve.
That's the one.
Yeah,
I won the
Mve.
title from her last year in June.
Yeah, June 2024.
Yeah.
Last year.
Then after that, that's the only fight I had in that whole year.
Or until the recent one you mentioned.
Until now with Nonina. So the Gauteng title fight was amazing. Obviously I knew I was going to win because I know I'm a champ and I put in all the work and whatever. And then that came and it went and I got the title and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then I was so bummed. Like, what the hell? Things are supposed to happen now because I'm the champ.
you're the
Like,
champ,
why is nothing happening?
Yeah.
So I got quite bummed and I had to keep on reminding myself, like, you have to work. It's coming. It's coming. It's not there yet, but it's coming. And then this fight with Bukiwe was a big test for me because she's had like 20-something fights, 26 fights or something. And she's only lost like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of them. So she's a good boxer.
Yeah.
And she's had international experience. She fought international opponents before.
Yeah.
She's had previous world titles and African titles and like plenty titles, former everything. So she's a really good boxer.
Yeah.
She's probably one of the most decorated female boxers in
SA,
South Africa.
yeah.
Right? So for me, it was a great test, actually. I knew if I can beat her on a big stage with a lot of media, all that pressure, and I still win the fight, then I'm ready for the big game. Then I'm ready for the bigger stages. Then I'm ready to go international and face a world champion for a world title, for instance. So for me personally, this Nonina fight was one of the biggest fights of my career so far.
Sheesh.
And it wasn't even a title fight or anything. It was just a 6-rounder.
Yeah.
But because of the test that I put myself through with her, it was like the biggest fight of my career so far.
Sheesh. Wanakocha, we're still in conversation and hanging out with Bernice Ferreira, the champion, the junior champion for the province of Gauteng. And perhaps you're wondering there at home, who is Bernice and where does she come from and why do we actually have her here in the studio hanging out with us? She says she started training when she was really young, and it was during her primary school years that she entered the realm of amateur kickboxing, where she made quite an impact, even challenging older competitors. In the year 2004, she achieved a notable success by clinching 2 gold trophies at the South African Kickboxing Championships, among several other victories in various championships and tournaments, even earning a spot to represent her country at the World Championships was a dream come true. Yet, unfortunately, due to challenging circumstances at home and limited financial resources, she was unable to seize this opportunity. The setback deeply affected her motivation, prompting her to transition to boxing during her high school years. And, that's some of the things that she's gone through as a young female boxer, finally finding herself last year winning the junior championship of Gauteng. Very, very interesting stuff. This is what we do right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, trying to bring you very relevant people who are doing amazing stuff in and around our communities. And, God willing, this is going to be an international thing. And like a year from now, we can have you back here and say,
with the title.
Yeah, man, holding your belt. This is something that we really, really look forward to, man. Yes, Mo?
Yeah, definitely. So now you secured a management partnership with Colin McAusland. Just take us through that and how you were feeling when you secured that partnership.
It kind of just happened. I didn't push for it or look for her, or I didn't know who to look for, to be honest. I was still trying to figure out how am I going to get fights, because I have my license, but nobody wants to fight me and I can't organize fights for myself. So when she called me and said BSA gave me your number, I was so grateful. I was like, thank God, now that something will happen. And because she's like, I don't know if she's the only female manager in the country, but she's definitely one of the best female managers in the country. And she manages Smash, Simangela Adebe. Her ring name is Smash. She's fighting actually today in Mexico for the WBC silver title. But they're 8 hours behind us, so we'll catch it tomorrow morning. On at like 3 or 4 a.m. So actually, I want to just tell everybody, please watch Smash's fight on discoverysport.com. It's going to be free, no pay-per-view, no sign-up, no nothing. Just free.
You log on and you just watch.
That's it. Please watch the fight. It's a big fight. It's a world title fight, and she's my teammate, so I really want to support her.
Man, very cool stuff.
Nice.
Anyway, definitely.
So when I spoke to Colleen and I realized that she's managing people like Smash, I was over the moon. I was like, this is where I need to be, man. Things are going to happen. And then things happened, like 5 fights in 1 year. I was like, damn, this is where I'm
the doors are slowly opening now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sticking to her, sticking to my guns with her, and I trust her. I trust her with my career. She's been making the decisions of which fights to take and when to take which fights. So I completely trust her with that. My job is to train hard and execute the plan on the day, and my coach and my manager will handle the rest.
Very cool stuff. Man. I want to take it back a bit. Now, you are growing up as a young girl, and I'm not sure if you had the conversation, but you get to this love of wanting to fight and being in the ring, starting from kickboxing and then transitioning to professional boxing now. What is the conversation with your parents? I know your parents are fighters themselves, right? Like you mentioned. But, growing up as kids, we are so bombarded with conventional jobs. Go work a 9 to 5, right? So what is the conversation like at home? You're finishing primary, you're finishing high school. Are they supporting you, saying, absolutely, go for it, we're right there with you? Or are they saying, man, you can do this on the side, Bernice, come on, man, go to school, find another job or something?
So my mom was very much like, get a 9 to 5. You got a matric and you're not doing sports, so go get a 9 to 5. And I did for a long time. I had like a few call center jobs, worst jobs of my life. Like, it drained my soul. But I did it, and I had to do it to survive. You know what I mean? I still needed money. And my mom still looked down on me like, you're not making money, you're not working, you're not doing anything, you got to do something. You know what I mean? So I definitely felt pressure to do the 9 to 5 life. But luckily, it didn't work out in my favor.
Luckily, I like that.
So the conversation then with my parents and me compared to now is completely different. Back then, my mom would say, you have to find a job. Like, are you happy with your job? How much pay do you get? Or, you know what I mean? Now, the conversation is, when I get home, the first thing my dad asks is, did you run this morning? The first thing my mom asks is, when is your next fight? Did you hear any news yet? So definitely the conversation has changed.
I can
Absolutely.
imagine.
They now worry about your fitness now.
Exactly. And when is my next fight? And am I ready?
Very cool stuff. And Mo, there's comments coming through here on YouTube. Your recovery time, we've touched that. So Spin City comes back, says, please tell us more about the gym and community work you do. Why are you doing it? And then Takalani says, how many teeth have you lost? And then Katie comes back, says, would she consider to create a documentary or a movie just like Clarissa T-Rex Shields did? Just like Clarissa Shields did, because the movie kind of gave light for
female boxers.
So the first one is the community work that you do.
Yeah.
How and why do you do that? Yeah.
My partner there, Leanne, has a passion for coaching. During the lockdown, we were just training ourselves at home, and there was these youngsters that saw us or watched us training, and they were very interested, always coming to watch and whatever. And then Leanne said, hey, do you guys want to train with us? And then we started like training them. It was like 3 or 4 little boys, and they were really interested. So we decided, okay, let's start like a thing where we train the kids in the community, and we called it MobiFit, mobile fitness, whatever. But we didn't have facilities, we didn't have
equipment
gear,
and stuff,
nothing, none of that. So it was basically just in the street with the kids, running up and down, doing push-ups like body weight training. And it grew and it grew and it grew. Eventually we moved over to Fitas as well, a different area. So we started out in Mayfair, went to Fitas, still no equipment, no facility, no nothing, but the classes kept growing. At some stage we had like 30 kids in the class, and we don't even have a facility. We're training under the street light.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously we tried to get facilities and we didn't get anything. Then James from Muscle Zone approached us and he said he's got this facility, he's got a boxing section, but nothing's happening there. We can use that space. So that's where we are now, at the Muscle Zone Gym in Northcliffe. I'm very grateful to James and his wife Colleen for giving us that space and obviously assisting with helping the kids. And so that's the community work that we do. It's mostly a passion that Leanne has, and because I'm a boxer, I also have some knowledge. So we're partners, so we venture into everything together. But I have to say it's more Leanne's thing than mine.
I see.
I'm kind of just basically assisting Leanne.
I can imagine the energy that you guys have when the kids are there, and you're sharing the knowledge of being in an actual ring and fighting, and her passion of wanting to give back and train the young kids out there. I can imagine, man. TK says, have you lost any teeth?
Not yet. No teeth lost, no fights lost, no broken noses, no broken jaws.
Wow.
Have you ever broken someone though, or took someone's teeth out?
No, I haven't taken anyone's teeth, but I did. My second fight was the first time ever that I punched someone that I can see, whoa, her eyes are swollen. Both eyes are blue and swollen. And it made me feel good. I was like, damn.
Wow. I'm thinking that you were about to say, nah, man, I felt so bad for you.
I used to.
Not anymore.
In the beginning, when I just started, before I turned pro, I used to do I had one white collar fight just to try and get back into it, and all my friends and family was like, you're holding back, why are you holding back, stop holding back. So by the second pro fight I was like, I'm not fucking holding back. Sorry.
No. I can imagine. Man.
So when I saw, hey, this girl's got some bruises now, then I was like, damn, I'm not holding back anymore.
Sheesh, man. And then Katie asked that, would you consider making a movie or a documentary?
Absolutely. There's some documentaries in the works already. We've done one with the rise and fall of boxing in South Africa. That's going to come out really, really soon. So stay tuned for that. There's another one in the works, kind of still halfway through or just starting off. There's I'm in. Any documentary, anything, I'm in.
All the way
media coverage or any exposure, I'm in. We need exposure. Females need exposure. For the sport to grow for females, we need exposure. So I'm in.
Definitely.
Do you find that there is a lot of interest though from young girls coming up?
It's changed now recently. I think because the women are speaking up more, and because of guys like you that's putting us on a platform to say our say. I think it's definitely making a difference. So big ups to you guys and keep doing what you're doing.
We appreciate it. Definitely still in a conversation with Bernice the Bernice Ferreira right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. So what are you going to do?